Welcome back to the MOOC course on corporate social responsibility. My name is Aradhana Malik and I'm helping you with this course. And in this lecture, we are, in the previous lecture, we had started the discussion on corporate citizenship. Now, this is a module on corporate social responsibility and sustainability. So, we are going to bring everything together. We are going to bring corporate citizenship, corporate governance, corporate social responsibility together and tie them in with corporate sustainability, which is the tangible output that we are going to be talking about. So, that's one of the ways in which we demonstrate as an organization our commitment to the natural environment around us, and we're going to talk more about corporate sustainability. And it's not only environmental sustainability, it's sustainability resting on the 3 pillars. So, but we will talk about that in a little while. So, in this particular lecture, we are going to wind up the discussion on corporate citizenship and see how that ties in with corporate social responsibility. So, let's see what we have for you here. Now, before I begin, I have, I would like to tell you that I mistakenly pronounced and recorded the name of the author incorrectly. Since we can't go back and change that, I will tell you that I made that mistake earlier. The name of the author who gave us the dimensions of corporate citizenship is Mervis with an I, and Mervis and Googins, and I mistakenly spelt and pronounced the name as Marvis, and that was my mistake, so I'm sorry about that, but I have corrected that in the following slides. So the correct name of the author is Mervis, Mirvis, and Googins, and these two authors gave us developmental framework of citizenship, and that's where this material has been drawn from, and I'll give you the complete reference. So, okay, let's see what we have for you here. They say that corporate citizenship develops in a number of stages. Now, the first stage is the elementary stage. The first stage is the stage where the citizenship concept is just developing. It only deals with jobs, profits, and taxes. The activity is episodic. Now, I've added one more to what they have, they've given us a list of 7 dimensions, and they've described the stages in terms of dimensions. I have taken the liberty of adding activity and challenge to those dimensions, so that the differences in the stages become even they are since we can't present the whole document in this presentation, I can share with you what they have written under these headings. So they haven't labeled it as activity. That is something that I have interpreted out of what I read in their paper. So they say that the concept of citizenship relates to jobs and profits and taxes, and so you are just a part of an organization because you're working there. You get your salary from the profits and you pay taxes on it. The activity is episodic, underdeveloped programs. So in terms of corporate, in terms of their citizenship behavior, their activities constitute of occasional contributions to the society, and the programs that they have in this direction are underdeveloped. They are not very thought through, and they just happen as and when they are needed. The strategic intent here is compliance, which is obeying the law, following the law. So if the law says that you have to do something, then they do something. The leadership is lip service. The leaders are usually out of touch. The leaders usually do not know what is going on in terms of corporate citizenship behavior. They're not involved. It's just they're more like signing authorities. Somebody will bring to them a plan of action for a CSR activities, and they'll say, okay, as long as it is doing something for the community, I'll sign it. They just sign it. So they're not really involved. It's more of authorizing the CSR activity that the managers have thought about. Then the structure here is marginal and staff driven, and is delegated. The responsibility of engaging with the community, of helping the community, is delegated to the functional heads of different departments who take it over from there. Then the issues management is defensiveness. So the way issues are managed is more on a defensive footing. It's more along the lines of okay, we have to do this, so we are doing it, not because we want to do it. The stakeholder relationships are unilateral. The relationship is one-sided, so it's about we are giving and you have to receive, you have to take whatever we are giving to you, and there's no real interaction there. The transparency is limited, is organizations behavior is transparent, and whatever they disclose is falls into the realm of transparency only with the sole intent of protection of reputation, protection of resources, preservation of resources to the extent possible, so protection from the law, so just doing what is really required by the law, and that is the extent to which organizations are transparent. And the challenge here at this stage of corporate citizenship is to gain credibility as a corporate citizen. So yes, we are beginning to get involved, we are entering the realm, but we are still not sure what we are doing. We're just going to try out a few things. We'll just send out some signals into the environment. We'll do a few things, then we'll see how the environment reacts. Then we'll do something else and we'll see how the environment reacts. So we're not really fully involved. At the very basic level, we are just doing what we are required to do by the law. The second stage here is the engaged stage, as Mervis and Googins propose, and they say that in this stage, the concept of citizenship is more along the lines of philanthropy and environmental protection. So we have to go out and do something. We have to go and help those in need. We have to go out and help those who need help. The activity here is, or the kinds of work they do, is more of a policy-based approach to mitigate the likelihood of litigation and risks to reputation. So it's more of an approach to reduce the likelihood of any legal action and any risk to reputation. So we do whatever it takes to maintain the current reputation we have in the community. We don't want to be penalized by the law. So it's more along the lines of that. But then the understanding is, the concept that we go by is philanthropy. We have to do something, but we also want to protect ourselves from any legal action. So we'll be a little more involved. The strategic intent is the license to operate in the community as a corporate citizen. Leadership is more of a supporter. The leaders are more in the loop, leaders are more involved, leaders know what is going on, so they are copied on communication, they're more engaged with whatever is going on. So they're just not stamping authorities, they're just not signing on things, they are actually in the loop, they are told about whatever is going on, so they're aware of the efforts. The structure is functional units, functional ownership by the different staff units. So staff units take responsibility for they take ownership for the success or failure of these programs and for the utility of the programs that they carry out in the community. So they are trying to help the community with whatever the government is not able to give them. That is the essence of corporate citizenship. Let's just go back and revisit, because when I'm talking about this, we must remember the different stages of corporate citizenship. So I'm going to take you back to what we had discussed in the previous lecture. So we had talked about three scenarios. One was where the government ceases to administer citizenship rights, where government has not as yet administered citizenship rights, and where the administration of citizenship rights may be beyond the reach of the nation state government. So identifying where we are and what we need to do, and just a second, I think this is frozen, 1 second. Yeah, okay. So that was what we had discussed, and so we are talking about more like they're taking ownership. They say, okay, this is what the government has either stopped doing or has not been able to do yet, or it's outside the reach of the government, and this is what we are going to do. We are going to help the government as corporate citizens. So with citizenship comes a lot of responsibility, and we'll talk a little bit more about that in a little while. So it's, it's more about the responsibility that organizations have towards the community that they operate in. So the structure is functional ownership. The different units say, okay, we will own this project, we will take responsibility for the success or failure of this project, and we will see how it operates in the environment. Okay, the next issue here is issues management. How do they manage issues? It's more reactive. So initially it was defensive, yes, we don't want to get caught. Here it is more reactive. We see something happening, we want to go out and help. So it's more along the lines of policies are made to react to the problems in the environment by being involved with the environment. Then the relationships that the organization has with the stakeholders are interactive. They're not one-sided, they're not unilateral, they are interactive. You speak to the stakeholders, find out what they need, and then prepare yourself and then go and give what they need to them. Transparency is more towards building public relations, because it's not only to protect yourself. The more open you are with your stakeholders, the more your stakeholders know what you're doing, the more they will start trusting you. The challenge is to build capacity. So in the previous stage, the challenge was to gain credibility, to become believable. But in this stage, the challenge is to build capacity. The challenge is to empower the people who are in the environment, to build capacity within the environment, to help to help do what the government is not doing. So to give people the rights and responsibilities they are required, they deserve as by virtue of their being citizens. That's what we had talked about, different spheres in which corporate citizenship operates. Okay, the third stage is, after you have achieved this, then you go to the innovative stage. Now in the innovative stage, these Mervis and Guggen suggest that the citizenship concept evolves to that of stakeholder management. So in the previous stage it was philanthropy and environmental protection. Now it is stakeholder management. It is management of stakeholders, finding out who the different stakeholders are, giving them what they need, dealing with conflicts of interest between different stakeholders, etc. The activity, or what organizations do in this stage, is planning, funding, launching of myriad corporate citizenship related programs. So they actually go in and they plan and they start implementing those programs. Monitoring social and environmental performance and publishing results in public reports. The strategic intent is to build a business case. So and the leadership here is stewardship. It's not only involved, it's not only involvement, it's not only support, it's actually stewardship. So you are on top of it, you're in the know, you're helping, you're part of the team that is doing this. The structure is cross-functional coordination. Different functional departments work with each other to give something comprehensive to the community, to help the organization with its efforts in corporate, in helping the government, in giving what the government could have or should have given but was unable to for various reasons. Then issues management. How are issues managed? Instead of being reactive, you start responding. You are actually more involved, you get more innovative. It's not only a reaction to the situation, it's a response to help the situation or to help alleviate the situation, so that the problems don't crop up again, and you actually institute programs to make sure that things don't happen, or the problems don't crop up again. The stakeholder relationships are mutual influence. So in the previous stage, the relationship was more interactive. We're just trying to find out what you're doing. Here it is mutual influence. You talk to us, you convince us about what you need, we talk to you, we tell you what we can give you, and we all work together, and we are influencing each other's way of thinking and decisions, and we are then building something new together. the transparency is aspect is covered. The primary goal of transparency is public reporting. So it's not only public relations, now it's out there telling the public what you're doing, and disclosure and reporting. So you just report whatever activities have been carried out. The challenge here is to create coherence between programs, between different types of programs. I'm sorry about the double programs word. Anyway, that will be removed when the slide is put up for you. So to create coherence between programs run by the organization. Okay. All right, but now let's talk a little bit about why there could be a lack of coherence between programs at stage 3. The corporate staff units don't see the necessity and value of working together, especially when they feel stretched by their own agendas and a sense of competition for scarce resources. So different staff units may, there could be a clash between what they think they should be doing and what they're asked to do, or between the capacities and what the organization wants different staff units to do. So the organization wants them to work together, but they want to work independently, and their own agendas are so much, and then they say, in addition to this, we have to also give back to the community. So they feel stretched, they feel overburdened. And many line managers don't see the relevance, as they often face compelling short-term priorities, because the effects of corporate citizenship are long-term. You don't see very much in the short term, but over a period of time, one begins to see how corporate citizenship helps the organization. And the third reason is a comprehensive view of citizenship is not linked with corporate strategy or embedded in the company culture in most cases. So that is one big reason. These are some of the reasons for lack of coherence at stage 3 that have been proposed by Mervis and Guggens. Okay, and the next stage is the integrated stage. So from innovation we go to integration. We do something new, now we go to integration, and this is the fourth stage suggested by Mervis and Guggens. And they say that the citizenship concept at this stage is sustainability or triple bottom line. We'll talk more about sustainability in the following lectures. The triple bottom line includes people, planet, and profit. So equal attention to all three in order to form a solid foundation. So the concept of citizenship is to contribute to sustainability, and this part is what links this discussion to the whole idea of sustainability and eventually corporate social responsibility. Who are we being responsible to? What are we doing in our efforts to become responsible? Who is looking at this? Who is monitoring this? Who is telling us where the direction we need to take, etc.? So it's this stage that we are aiming for when we are talking about sustainability, we are talking about responsibility. Then the activity here is, or the kinds of things that organizations do at this stage are setting targets and key performance indicators. KPI stands for key performance indicator. So you set targets and key performance indicators and monitoring performance through balanced scorecards. We had a brief overview of balanced scorecards. I wish I could give you all the detail, but you can find a lot more detail about KPIs and balanced scorecards in the course on human resource management. It's called Principles of Human Resource Management, and that is another course that was offered through the NPTEL forum some time back. So I believe the material is all out there, so you can go through that. Anyway, strategic intent is value proposition. So at this stage we have moved from compliance or obeying the law to license to operate, to developing a business case, to proposing value for the community. The structure is organizational alignment. It's not only different departments working together, it is the entire organization getting together and saying, yes, this has to be a part of the way we as an organization do things. The leadership is, the leader becomes a champion, the leader is in front of it, the leader gives direction and says, this is the direction we need to take, this is where we need to go with it. Not only, being in the loop and being a stamping authority, not only being involved or supporting the group, not only overseeing the entire operations but actually taking initiative and saying this is where we are going and pushing the case forward despite all kinds of hurdles coming your way. Then the way issues are managed is proactive. You put systems in place to make sure problems don't arise, to make sure the community is benefited, to make sure you become a part of the community and community actually looks up to you to do something for them. Then transparency is primarily for assurance of the people around, in the community. So it's more about assuring people in the community to that the organization is really doing something for them. The challenge here is to deepen commitment to sustainability through citizenship among the employees, among the stakeholders. So that is the challenge that the organization is dealing with. The next and the final stage is transforming. Now these are the same stages that happen. This is similar to any to any change program, because after all, incorporating a sense of citizenship and understanding that the organizations that have so many resources, so many minds, so much with them can actually help the government achieve whatever it is out to achieve or whatever it should be doing for its citizens is very, very important. So this is a realization. The organization becomes a responsible citizen and transforms from the inside out. The citizenship concept is to change the game. We are citizens because we want to change the way things are done in the community. We want to change the way the community responds to certain things. We want to change the way the rights, or we want to change the way their rights are assigned or allocated, or they have access to their rights, and we want to change the way they view their responsibilities, and we want to change the way we as citizens view our responsibilities, and we want to change the way the society deals with the problems that come up. The activity here, or the way organizations behave at this stage, is they partner extensively with other businesses, community groups and NGOs to address problems, reach new markets and develop local economies. There is cross-industry and multi-sector cooperation in addressing societal ills. Again, one of my favorite examples is that of Rugmark. I showed it to you yesterday. Great initiative. Now it's become Good Weave. So, people said, okay, we will not tolerate this. We are not going to tolerate this kind of behavior. We will not allow child labor. We will not make it part of the way we do things. So let's all get together and we join an initiative, and or removal of child labor, or working together for for prevention of cruelty to animals. You say you don't use any products that require cruelty to animals. Of course, the non-vegetarian food industry is out of this loop. They can never join this group. But anyway, that was on a lighter note. So, or we will not sell fur. Fur is very comfortable, or, but still we will not sell fur, or we will not operate in leather goods. I know some people who are, in their efforts to prevent cruelty to animals, they've stopped as a group, as a community. They just stopped using leather goods. So, so all of these things are, that happens when you're in the transformation stage. Now, these are individuals, but organizations could do it. We are a green campus, for example. We will not allow the use of polythene bags. So, that is something that you do as a community. Or, so these are the steps that people take as organizations, as associations of organizations. Then say, anybody who wants to be perceived as a good socially responsible organization will not do this. So anyway, so that is what this is all about. So the strategic intent at this stage is mainstream, business driven, so it is all integrated. Leadership is visionary. You are ahead of the pack. You're doing things that people have still not thought about earlier. The structure is, again, it's the integrated into the structure. I think I made a mistake here, but I will correct it. The issues management is more defining. You define the issues and then you deal with them. The stakeholder relationships are multi-organizational. Transparency is done with the intent of full disclosure for the stakeholders. The challenge here is to develop inter-organizational alliances, innovation in different socioeconomic spheres, and differentiation. So, how do you bring things together? This is a well-known fact that as something develops, on the one hand, its different aspects, or something evolves, the different aspects of what is evolving come out. So differentiation is at its peak. At the same time, integration of these differentiated parts into one comprehensive whole is also emerging as to how these things are unique but still connected through a common fabric, and that is what happens. So that is the real challenge as to how you diversify and still appear as one unit. Okay. Factors that shape citizenship are the founding purpose and time. How do you define citizenship? External forces, you have strategy and competition, traditions and culture, you have leadership matters, you have pull versus push. So pulling means how leadership views citizenship, how traditions and culture influence citizenship. Then how the pulling refers to the external demand for transparency and responsible behavior. So legislation, things that force you to do certain things. Pushing, it comes from inside. So there's self-monitoring behavior, there's realization from the inside, and there's bottom-up responsible behavior. Okay, I think that is all we have time for in this lecture. We will continue this discussion and wrap up the discussion on corporate citizenship in the next class. Thank you very much for listening.